Takuya was an ugly loser who got bullied for being a die-hard otaku. However, when the school's hottest girls learn that he's into freaky animes, they become obsessed with him and do all sorts of tricks to rizz him up. It all begins one day when ugly maidenless Takuya is sitting in his class, gushing over how he's different from all the normies in the school because he's an otaku who loves animes with fun-sized, lawless in it. While Takuya is admiring his eraser featuring his favorite anime, a baddie named Kotoko suddenly snatches it from his hand and asks him why his eraser looks funny, while showing it to her friend Amane. Hearing this, Takuya becomes angry and thinks they are both popular hoes who are unkind to otakus like him. To Takuya's surprise, he hears Amane excitedly tell Kotoko that the eraser is themed after Glittermon, a popular anime that her sister loves watching. However, after observing Amane's over-the-top reaction, Takuya wonders if Amane watches anime, so he later confronts her by asking if she is an otaku like him. All of a sudden, Takuya finds himself pinned against the wall, as Amane tells him that she's not a disgusting otaku. Not believing her, Takuya then dangles an anime-themed keychain towards her, which instantly gets her excited, and she reveals that she had been searching everywhere for this keychain. Looking at Amane's happy face, Takuya tells her to keep the keychain, and even though Amane is super excited, she still tells Takuya that the keychain is for her sister, which gets Takuya flustered since he never thought Amane could be this cute. The next day, Kotoko borrows Takuya's eraser again, but instead of being annoyed this time, Takuya appreciates how Kotoko doesn't clown him for being an otaku. Meanwhile, Kotoko looks at his new eraser and recognizes the character from Glittermon, which gets Takuya excited. She then reveals that Amane lent her the manga, so she stayed up all night reading it, and this gets Takuya so excited that he starts rambling about the anime, until he realizes that he must be grossing out Kotoko. However, to his surprise, Kotoko tells him to talk slowly because she's having a hard time keeping up. Seconds later, Kotoko asks Takuya for his Minsta account, but he hesitates, so Kotoko grabs his phone to look for it herself. Seeing this, Takuya freezes in horror, as he starts recalling how he got bullied by the popular crowd for having an anime-themed account, but then Kotoko tells him that he's super cool for being dedicated to the things he loves. While Takuya is shocked by Kotoko's reaction, she grabs him for a selfie and tells him to tag her in the photo. Later that evening, Takuya watches one of his favorite villains, Patch, die in the anime, and because of this, he's bummed out the next morning. Just as he wishes to share his sadness with someone, he spots Amane with red puffy eyes and once again wonders if Amane is a die-hard otaku like him. Later in class, Takuya notices a Glittermon keychain on Amane's bag, and when she catches him looking, she threatens to slime him if he accuses her of being an otaku. Instead of backing away this time, Takuya shares with her how sad he is about Patch's death, which makes Amane weak in the knees, so she whispers in Takuya's ear that she is also bummed about his death. Just then, Kotoko arrives and asks Amane if she is dating Takuya, causing her to freak out, while in the meantime, Takuya sits on his chair like a heated-up Samsung phone. Later that day, Takuya realizes that he forgot his book at home and is freaking out since his sensei is a retired Yakuza boss. So, to save himself, he takes out a maths book and pretends to read from it until Kotoko turns around and catches him red-handed. Takuya starts panicking even more as he imagines Kotoko telling everyone about his bluff, but to his shock, she announces in front of the class that she forgot her book, so she'll be borrowing from Takuya. With that, Kotoko hands her book to Takuya and tells him that this is her way of showing gratitude for all the time he let her borrow his eraser. After class, Kotoko and Amane are surrounded by other popular brats, and seeing this, Takuya realizes that an introverted otaku like him can never be part of Kotoko and Amane's world. To cheer himself up, he heads to the nearest anime store to grab a newly launched Glittermon merchandise, and lo and behold, Amane and Kotoko are already there. Even though Takuya wants to shop with them, he convinces himself that baddies and weebs do not belong together and turns to leave when the girls grab him, asking him to shop with them. After picking up the mystery boxes, Takuya, Amane, and Kotoko unbox the figurines together. And for the first time, Takuya thinks that baddies can be kind to unwashed, smelly otakus like him. The next day, Kotoko excitedly tells Takuya that she has finished the first arc of Glittermon. Just then, Amane arrives and tells Kotoko to binge-watch the anime until her eyes fall off. Since this is the most otaku thing Takuya has ever heard of, He is about to give Amane the look until she angrily tells him that it's her sister who is into the anime. Despite knowing the truth, Takuya keeps his mouth shut as it has been a good couple of days sharing Glittermon stuff with the school's most popular gals. He then tells Kotoko that he can lend her the Blu-ray for Glittermon, but in return, Kotoko asks if she can watch the anime at his place. While Takuya freezes in shock, Amane tells Kotoko that she's going to break Virgin-chan over here with these wild ideas. Snapping back, Takuya tells Kotoko that his house is a mess, and she immediately accuses him of having naughty body pillows of Lolis. Sweating hard, Takuya reveals that his room is just littered with Glittermon art, which piques Amane's interest, so she announces they're going to Virgin-chan's place. As Takuya starts tweaking out, Amane begs him to teach her how to make Glittermon art. A few hours later, the gals arrive at Takuya's place and start bombing him with questions about his cultured drawings, making him panic even further. While they're sniffing around his room, Takuya realizes that even though he's a loser, he has 2 hotties in his room, something you gooners can only dream about. He then grabs the CDs and is about to tell the girls to go home when Kotoko hugs him from behind, causing him to drop to his knees. Kotoko then tells Takuya that she wants to watch the anime at his place, but Takuya is against that because he's afraid of fangirling in front of 2 spicy mamacitas. Then, out of curiosity, Kotoko asks Takuya if he's the kind of fan who has light sticks, but when he tells her that he's not that big of an anime freak, Amane becomes offended since she likes to make posters to cheer for her favorite character. Hearing this, Kotoko becomes excited and tells the otaku duo that she wants to have the full anime experience. Amane and Takuya look at each other, agreeing to give Kotoko the best otaku experience of her life. After setting the ambiance, Takuya puts in the CD, and once the anime starts playing, he and Amane start bawling their eyes out in excitement while Kotoko enjoys seeing their over-the-top reactions. Midway, Takuya's happiness reaches its peak as he never expected himself to enjoy this much. Just then, Amane grabs Takuya to brace herself for a crucial scene, causing his heart to go doki-doki. Then, for a brief moment, Amane locks eyes with Takuya, and just when they snap out of their daze, they hear Kotoko clicking their picture. Amane immediately pounces on Kotoko since she doesn't want to be seen sitting next to Takuya. After the screening session, Amane tells Takuya to give her his Minsta account as she wants to look at his Glittermon drawings. As Takuya nervously hands her the phone, Amane freaks out, asking him if his username is Daddy Otaku. Kotoko curiously asks Amane if Takuya is famous, but he quickly tells her that he has barely 50 followers, and that's when Amane proudly reveals that she's one of his followers. While Takuya is taken aback, Amane tells him that she was desperately searching for Glittermon art, and that's when she stumbled upon his account. While they are talking about other artists, Kotoko looks at them and says they look like the perfect weeb couple. After cursing Kotoko and her dead granny, Amane asks Takuya to teach her how to draw. He agrees and shows her the basics, but the moment he finds Kotoko lying on his bed, his Johnson starts moonwalking in excitement. Shaking away his cultured thoughts, Takuya apologizes to Kotoko for not tending to her, but she assures him that she's used to getting ignored by the dudes that are into Amane. Amane then adds that she also gets scene-zoned by the boys who are into Kotoko. Just then, a wicked idea pops into Kotoko's head, and she asks Takuya who he likes better, her or Amane. Gulping down in fear, Takuya picks up the Glittermon manga and says that he's into 2D women, which makes Amane and Kotoko laugh. Once it's time to go home, the gals thank Takuya for showing them a good time, and in response, he bows in front of them and says that he had a lot of fun too. Seeing this, Kotoko tells Takuya to ease up because they're all friends after all. Later in his room, Takuya's inner freak takes over, and he starts seeing Amane and Kotoko everywhere in his room. So, out of frustration, he goons all night and shows up to school looking like a sucked-up mango. After school, Takuya tells Amane that Kotoko has already left, and while she's moping about it, Takuya seizes this chance to ask Amane about her otaku account. Amane immediately gets defensive about it and says that the account belongs to her little sister, so Takuya tells her that if she was a real otaku, they could have streamed Glittermon's new episodes together. Hearing this, Amane quickly folds and tells Takuya her username. On the weekend, the duo stream the anime together, and when Monday comes, Takuya catches Amane in the hallway, acting like a typical popular baddie. Just when he wonders if Amane is going to go back to ignoring him, she comes up to him and says she had loads of fun yesterday. Later that evening, Takuya is out shopping when he bumps into Kotoko looking like a hot mess without her makeup. She then tells Takuya that if he tells anyone how she looks without makeup, she will steal his banana like the witch from Dandadan. The next day at school, Kotoko is upset after learning that Takuya and Amane are already friends at Minsta, so she forces Takuya to add her as well. Later that night, Takuya freaks out when he receives 2 separate hangout invitations from Amane and Koitoko. After panicking for a bit, Takuya wonders if this is a prank, before realizing the girls are as serious as your receding hairline. So the next day, Takuya invites Amane and Kotoko for a group hangout since he couldn't say no to one. At this, Kotoko tells Takuya that he's a lucky man who is getting to hang out with Amane since she usually doesn't like being around boys. Meanwhile, Takuya's brain has started showing him error 404 because he can't believe how cute the gals are. Then all of a sudden, Kotoko announces a dating event and tells Amane to go on a date with Takuya for an hour. In the meantime, she'll wait until it's finally her turn to lick Takuya's lollipop. Moments later, Amane thanks Takuya for coming with her to the anime shop while he looks around, realizing that everyone is staring at the beauty next to him. Just then, an ugly scum walks up to Amane and tries to ask for her number, but she coldly tells him to get lost and walks away. Catching up to her, Takuya asks Amane if she is okay, and she apologizes for scaring him away with her coldness. Takuya assures her that she was really cool for an otaku, and while Amane is pleased by the compliment, she lightly punches him for calling her an otaku. Several minutes later, they arrive at the Heaven for Weebs, where a fat chair breaker looks at them and thinks that he too has a shit with a hot girl. After getting what she wants, Amane takes Takuya to a cafe where she tells him that her sister would love the Glittermon magazine. At this, Takuya asks Amane what her sister is like, and she reluctantly confesses that she is an only daughter. Just when Takuya starts crying, thinking Amane is special needs, she clarifies that she calls the next-door neighbor her little sister. Sighing in relief, Takuya then tells Amane that he wants to meet her sister, which makes Amane think that he's trying to eat some cupcakes. However, Takuya quickly tells her that he's not into fun-sized shotties, and was just interested in getting to know another Glittermon fan. A few minutes later, Kotoko arrives for her date with Takuya and drags him away to capture silly pictures. After fooling around with the Snapchat filters, Kotoko takes Takuya to do a funny couple dance, which fills him with embarrassment. Just then, Takuya notices another Glittermon merchandise and starts gushing about it, prompting Kotoko to ask if he is into anything else. As he is about to tell her about his second favorite anime, Kotoko stops him and says that she wants to know about the type of girls he's into. Takuya admits that he has never imagined having a love life since he can't cheat on his 900 waifus. In return, Kotoko also shares with Takuya that she has never wanted romance before meeting him. Unfortunately, Takuya is unable to hear the last part, and before he can ask Kotoko to repeat, Amane shows up. The next day at school, Takuya and Amane are once again talking about Glittermon like the weebs they are. So Koitoko reminds them of the upcoming midterm exams, which suddenly bums them out. Turns out, both Amane and Takuya have terrible grades, while Koitoko is actually one of the students who score the highest at school. Kotoko suddenly feels sorry for her friends, so she decides to give them a free tutoring session. After several hours, she tells Amane and Takuya that she has to run home since she is on cooking duty, but before leaving, she warns them not to talk about Glittermon in her absence. The moment Kotoko leaves, Amane and Takuya start yapping about Glittermon, and even decide to exchange drawings on the characters. Eventually, it's time to go home, so they walk home together when all of a sudden, Amane tells Takuya to come to her place. Seconds later, Takuya finds himself in a girl's room for the first time, which makes him tweak out a little. Noticing this, Amane tells Takuya not to make things awkward, and he quickly apologizes, revealing that he's not used to such things. Takuya then asks Amane to show him her Glittermon merch, and while she's showing him an ultra-rare figurine, she tells Takuya that her sister is crazy about Glittermon stuff. Right then, a girl appears and accuses Amane of lying, stating that she is the one who forces her to watch Glittermon. Feeling embarrassed, Amane introduces Takuya to Sayu, who once again clarifies that she stopped watching Glittermon when her teeth came out. Both Takuya and Amane are deeply offended by this, so Takuya tries to change the topic by asking Sayu what she is into now. when she reveals that she likes shogi and Game of Thrones, which makes Takuya and Amane even worse for having stupid taste. Sayu then asks Takuya if he is Amane's sausage supplier, and Amane quickly tells her sister that Takuya is just a classmate. However, Sayu doesn't buy this, because if Amane didn't like Takuya, he wouldn't be allowed to enter her room. Annoyed by Sayu's blunt honesty, Amane pushes her to make dinner for everyone, and when she's finally alone with Takuya, she asks him for an art battle. If he wins, he can do anything to her, and if she wins, she can do anything to him. Knowing this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Takuya tells Amane that he wants her ultra-rare figurine, and she agrees. Moments later, Amane loses the game badly and asks Takuya to just do something dirty to her instead of taking her prize figurine. Just then, Sayu flings the door open and scolds Amane for trading her body over a stupid doll. Once it's time to go home, Sayu thanks Takuya for taking care of Amane, revealing that it's the first time she has brought a friend home. A few days after their midterm exams, Amane learns that she failed while Takuya managed to barely pass. Seizing this opportunity, Kotoko tells Takuya they should go on a date since Amane will be stuck having remedial classes. So, after school, Takuya and Kotoko hit the cinema, where Takuya convinces Kotoko to watch a Zombies vs. Sharks movie, which is so bad that Takuya later works hard and wins 2 mystery boxes for Kotoko at the crane machine. This gets Kotoko flustered, so she drags Takuya to a photo booth where they get their pictures taken. Takuya then tells Kotoko that thanks to her, he has gotten a lot comfortable around other people. In the meantime, Amane watches a romance movie and wonders if Takuya and Kotoko are getting naughty in the dimly lit cinema. So the next day, she impatiently asks them what movie they watched on their date. After learning they watched some crap called Zombies vs. Sharks, Amane feels relieved until Kotoko casually mentions hitting the photo booth with Takuya. Amane is about to throw up in sadness, but then she looks at the stupid picture and realizes Takuya and Kotoko didn't do anything couple-like. Just then, a photo slips out of Kotoko's diary, and as Takuya reaches down to pick it up, he's shocked to see Kotoko with another man. Taken aback, Takuya confronts Kotoko about the photo, but she quickly makes an excuse and rushes off to the washroom, leaving him more frustrated than ever. Having seen the photo, Amane wonders if the man was Kotoko's sugar daddy, which further depresses Takuya since he had called dibs on her blonde bush. So he tells Amane that Kotoko must be in some trouble, that she is selling her cookie to an older man, and as her friends, they should help her out. Agreeing with him, Amane makes some support signs for Kotoko, who watches this from afar and just sighs in frustration. She then reveals the man they saw was her oldest brother, and Amane and Takuya instantly let out a relieved sigh. Kotoko, on the other hand, feels weird since her parents have been smashing forever, and because of that she has 6 siblings. Just then, Amane is called to clean the washroom, and while she is leaving, she tells Kotoko to come to her if she's ever in trouble. When she is finally alone with Takuya, Kotoko tells him that she wanted to crack him for being worried about her. Later that day, the sports teacher announces a ball sports tournament, and to Takuya and Kotoko's bad luck, they are both stuck in one team. While they are bummed about being bad at sports, Amane comes up to Takuya and tells him to watch her tomorrow at the girls' basketball tournament. On the day of the event, Takuya is shocked to see everyone cheering for Amane as she devours the whole court like LeBron James. Turns out, Amane almost made it to the national team and earned the nickname of Iron Face for never smiling throughout the game. Just then, Takuya cheers for Amane and she shoots him $1 million smile, shocking everyone including Takuya. Meanwhile, Amane throws herself in the match because she wants to show Takuya that she's no less than Kotoko. After Amane's epic victory, Takuya goes to check on Kotoko's ping pong match, and as expected, she is doing terribly. Despite that, Takuya finds all the boys cheering for Kotoko, and he quickly learns that it's because of Kotoko's extra large balls. Later on, it's time for Takuya's baseball game, and he sucks more than Mia Khalifa. Despite Takuya's useless attempts, his teammates assure him that he did very well. Just then, Amane and Kotoko arrive at the field, and all the boys are distracted by their beauty. After the baseball game, the girls tell Takuya about an after party, but he is hesitant to go, knowing he will be the odd one out in the popular crowd. So he excuses himself and reveals that the baseball team invited him to go karaoke with them. This gives the girls the idea to have their own karaoke party, so they ditch all their plans and head straight towards the karaoke club. Once inside, Takuya tells Amane and Kotoko that he is about to unleash his inner Justin Bieber upon them, which gets them excited as they wonder if Takuya is going to unlock their plot armors using his sensual voice. Unfortunately for them, Takuya was talking about Justin Bieber from Lithuania's Got Talent. As Takuya sees their shocked faces, he starts wondering if he's about to enter their block list until the girls assure him that his voice is powerful enough to slime a coma patient. After their jam session, Takuya heads out to refill his and Koitoko's drinks, but on the way back he gets confused about which glass is his. Just then, Koitoko shows up and casually takes a sip from one of the glasses, causing Takuya to panic about having an indirect kiss. Kotoko, however, laughs and assures Takuya that it's not that big of a deal, but in reality, she's just as flustered as him. Later on the way home, the girls invite Takuya to hang out with them during the summer vacation, and since it's his first time getting invited, Takuya is super excited. So, a few days later, they all head to the beach, and Takuya's mind shatters upon seeing Kotoko and Amane in their swimsuits. An hour ago, Amane, Sayu, and Takuya shared the bus together, and Takuya could hardly contain his excitement, since this loser never had friends before. He then noticed Sayu carrying a new phone, and she excitedly told him that she got it after dancing for TikTok. After they arrived at the beach, Takuya was shocked to see Kotoko's older brother, Genichiro, and wondered if he should become a twink for him. Genichiro then introduced them to his other two brothers, Hibiki and Kakeru. After that, Kotoko took the girls to the changing room, and Takuya was left alone with Genichiro, who asked him if he was supplying his sausage to Kotoko. When he told him that he has never made a move on Kotoko, Genichiro became angry and asked him why he is not crushing on Kotoko. In the present, Kotoko asks Takuya what he thinks about their swimsuits, and Takuya wants to tell them that his pickle is tickling, but he refuses to say anything because of Genichiro. As Amane poses at the beach, Takuya thinks to himself that she looks like a fallen angel, and when Sayu catches him looking, she asks him if he's imagining Amane without her plot armor. Amane scolds Sayu for being so crude, while Kotoko is forced to work alongside her brother, so she looks at Takuya and Amane with sad eyes. In the meantime, Sayu gets an idea and tells Amane and Takuya to build Glittermon characters in the sand, and she will evaluate their designs with her camera. In reality, she just wants to take romantic pictures of them so she can later tease Amane. Once Amane and Takuya are done making the Glittermon sculpture, they ask Sayu to take a picture of it, but she tells them that she got she wanted. Hearing this, Amane wonders if Sayu collected romantic pictures of her and Takuya. Later on, while Amane and Koitoko are playing in the water, Takuya gets attacked by Hibiki and Kakeru's water guns. Seeing her brothers gang up on poor Takuya, Kotoko rushes to check up on him, telling him to spank her brothers if they annoy him too much. However, Takuya assures her that he can take the roughhousing, which makes Hibiki and Kakeru realize that they were wrong about Takuya being a creep. However, just to test how nice Takuya really is, the boys ask him if they can bury him in the sand. The second he says yes, Amane and Kotoko join the boys to give Takuya the full cartel victim experience. Afterwards, Kakeru and Hibiki leave to play some volleyball, but when the ball accidentally hits Kotoko, she directly falls on Takuya. Turning red, Kotoko runs towards Amane. Noticing this, Genichiro angrily puts a shovel next to Takuya and says that it's time to grill some meat. Takuya takes the hint and misses the cookout, while the rest of them enjoy Genichiro's meat. Kotoko, however, feels sorry for Takuya and decides to whip some buldak for Takuya and Amane. Just then, Hibiki and Kakeru come up to Takuya and ask him why he doesn't hang out with Kotoko when they are boyfriend and girlfriend. Kotoko quickly tells her brothers that they've got it all wrong, while Sayu adds that Takuya belongs to Amane. This causes a fight between the undercooked adults, and they decide to have a fight over who Takuya belongs to. Amane and Kotoko, on the other hand, try to tell their siblings that Takuya is just a friend, but they obviously ignore them. The boys then tell Sayu how Takuya went to the photo booth with Kotoko, and in retaliation, she tells them that Takuya was doing naughty things with Amane at her place. After realizing they have lost, Hibiki and Kakeru decide to just boycott Sayu and play by themselves, which leaves her all sad. Just when Kotoko is about to say something to Sayu, Takuya tells her to join him on an ice cream run. After making the purchase, Takuya and Sayu decide to walk together, where he shares with her that he has never had friends before, so he was pretty psyched for this beach trip, as he wanted to spend the day with everyone, having fun. Sayu instantly realizes what Takuya is trying to tell her, so she grabs the ice creams from him and rushes towards the boys to apologize to them. Once everything has been sorted out, Takuya finally gets to have a memorable beach trip. While he's resting up, Genichiro comes up to him, asking him who he plans on choosing, Amane or Kotoko. Freaking out at the question, Takuya replies that everything is platonic between them, so Genichiro tells him that he doesn't want his sister and her best friend getting hurt by any man. Since Takuya equally cares about Amane and Kotoko, he assures Genichiro that he's not going to let any man hurt the girls, including him. Taken aback, Genichiro wonders where Takuya got the courage from, but then Takuya apologizes to Genichiro for getting ahead of himself. Finally, it's time to go, and while Sayu and Amane are in the changing room, Takuya decides to spend some time with Kotoko. She then reveals that she's going to visit her grandma for the Obon festival, so she won't be able to join him and Amane for their next plan. As Takuya tells her to have fun, Kotoko thinks that he's happy to spend alone time with Amane. However, he quickly tells her that he has the most fun when he's hanging out with both of them. As the sun starts setting in the background, Amane and Kotoko look at each other with lovey-dovey eyes, but then Genichiro arrives and ruins the moment. Later inside the bus, Sayu falls asleep against Takuya, and a woman tells Amane that their daughter looks cute. Blushing a little, Amane turns around to ask Takuya if they look like a married couple, but when she finds him sleeping, she decides to lean against him and pretend they're a couple. A few days later, Takuya is at home, trying to complete his homework, when he gets a text from Amane. Moments later, he shows up at a wedding hall and asks Amane why she called him there. She then reveals that her mother wants her to model with a boy. The moment Takuya learns that Amane wants him to model with her, he freaks out and is about to run away, when Amane tells him that he is the only boy she trusts enough to do this with. Although Takuya knows that Amane is emotionally blackmailing him, he agrees to be manipulated by a hot girl. Just then, Amane's mother, Tamaki, appears, and Takuya is awestruck by the MILF's beauty. While Tamaki and Amane are talking, Takuya observes that Tamaki's nature matches with Kotoko, and that's why Amane is best friends with the blondie. Later inside, Tamaki takes Amane in the dressing room and admits to her that Takuya looks like a geek who will be able to give her an ultra-rich life. In response, Amane tells her mom to cut it out, since Takuya is more into Glittermon than her. Upon learning they are strictly friends, Tamaki breathes a sigh of relief, because she believed that dressing Amane in a bridal dress would delay her marriage. However, she still tells Amane that Takuya will instantly fall for her the moment he sees her in the bridal dress. Outside, Takuya is all dressed up, waiting for Amane, who shows up looking like she's ready to get cracked. Once it's time for the photo shoot, Tamaki tells them to hold hands, and the two losers start acting like they are on Love on Spectrum. Looking at their disappointing state, Tamaki decides to bring out Amane's embarrassing photos to ease the atmosphere. Her scheme works like magic, as Amane and Takuya burst out laughing, which allows them to relax during the photo shoot. Seeing her daughter happy, Tamaki recalls the days when Amane would barely smile and got labeled as the Iron Face Girl. To reward Takuya for his good work, Tamaki then shows him a picture of Amane blowing a huge snot bubble out of her nose. A few days later, Takuya is out buying drinks from a vending machine when Kotoko spots him and drags him inside the mart for discounted drinks. After getting their drinks, Kotoko casually asks Takuya what sort of naughty things he did with Amane in her room. Even though Takuya tells Kotoko that he just hung out with Amane, she remains jealous and asks Takuya to come over at her place. Takuya is taken aback by the sudden invitation, so Kotoko quickly tells him that her brothers miss him and that's why she wants him to come over. However, after saying that, Kotoko changes her mind and tells Takuya to just hang out with her at the mart. After a whole day of fun, Takuya goes home and the group chat starts going crazy once again as the girls invite him to a firework festival. A couple of days later, Takuya's eyes get blessed by Kotoko and Amane in a yukata. Unfortunately, the moment quickly turns chaotic when the girls start fighting over who gets to hold Takuya's hand, so Kotoko announces that they should all hold hands. After that, they all have a blast at the festival as they try out different stalls. Just then, Amane excuses herself to use the toilet, giving Kotoko the opportunity to build plot with Virgin Kun. so she takes Takuya to an isolated spot to watch the fireworks with him, but when she turns around, she finds Takuya in tears. He then reveals that he is just sad about summer vacation coming to an end, so Kotoko consoles him by saying they will have many more good moments together. In the meantime, Amane runs into her old friends, who tell her that she is a lot friendlier than before. As the fireworks light up the sky, Koitoko looks at Takuya and finds her heart beating faster than normal. So without thinking, she tells Takuya that she is into him. Meanwhile, Amane watches them from afar, as Takuya freaks out and asks Kotoko to elaborate on what she meant. By then, Kotoko is back to her senses, so she tells Takuya that she likes him as a friend. Takuya is delighted to hear this, so he tells Kotoko that he's also into her as a friend. Just then, Amane arrives, and after learning what happened, she quietly asks Kotoko if she really likes Takuya as just a friend. Before she can reply, Takuya tells Amane that it was great to hear that someone was into him, which stings her a little. Kotoko then saves the situation by telling Amane that she's into her as a friend too, and eventually they both start laughing. With only one day left before the next semester, Takuya finally picks up his homework and realizes he hasn't finished half of it yet. Unfortunately, Amane finds herself in the same situation and calls Kotoko for help, but she tells her that she is busy looking after her brothers. In the end, Amane is forced to do everything alone, while Sayu keeps a watchful eye on her so she can finish her homework on time. The next day, Kotoko happily greets her friends who have turned into old hags after completing all the homework in one night. Once the class begins, Kotoko borrows stationery from Takuya again, and sadly says that this is the last time she will get to take his things, since the seating arrangements are about to be changed. On cue, their teacher tells them to transfer their seats, and as Takuya moves to his new desk, he looks back and sees Kotoko surrounded by her new desk mates. At that moment, Takuya realizes that if he hadn't sat behind Kotoko, he would have never been friends with her and Amane. Just then, Takuya looks ahead and finds Amane, who tells him that it's her turn to be with him. A few hours later, Amane asks Takuya to help her out with classical Japanese, and he looks at her with disappointment for not knowing the basics. Embarrassed, Amane tells Takuya that she is doing her best, and while they're talking, a couple of boys look at them with shock. Takuya then excuses himself to use the toilet, and that's when the boys surround him to ask him if he is friends with Amane. Caught off guard, Takuya nervously tells them that some of his interests match with Amane, and the boys ask him if she is an otaku freak like him. Amane hears this, and shoots Takuya a cold look which makes him sweat, so he tells the boys that Amane talks to him because her sister and him like the same anime. Pleased by his answer, Amane gives Takuya a thumbs up, while the boys lose interest in him and walk away. Later that day, Kotoko finds herself thinking about her little confession the other day, when Takuya suddenly pops up and scares the daylights out of her. He then asks Kotoko to help him with English, and after she is done teaching him, Takuya casually tells Kotoko that he wishes they were still seat neighbors. This makes the blondie blush, so she tells Takuya that he is a total playboy for making her blush so much. However, Takuya insists that he feels lonely without her, which further frustrates Kotoko, so she decides to do something that will make Takuya blush. Later during the English period, Takuya finds a note in his textbook and instantly turns red and looks over at Kotoko, who proudly flexes that she left him an I like you note. A month later, Kotoko is sitting on Takuya's chair, talking to Amane when the star of the show arrives, and Kotoko asks him to sit on her lap. Seeing this, Amane thinks to herself that Kotoko is trying to monopolize on Takuya's lollipop, but says nothing to her. Kotoko then reveals that the annual school festival is right around the corner. Before Takuya can give his input, other popular baddies show up to talk to Amane and Kotoko, so he decides to skedaddle. While everyone is discussing the upcoming festival, a girl reveals that by the end of the event, if a girl and boy watch the fireworks together, they will turn into lifelong lovers. Hearing this, both Amane and Kotoko imagine Takuya asking them to come watch the fireworks with him. Later that day, their homeroom teacher is all fired up for the event because he is banking on Amane and Kotoko's good looks to make the event more memorable. Kotoko then gives her own input and says they should do a maid cafe, which makes all her Sims cry with happiness. However, Amane instantly puts her foot down and says she is not dressing up, making her Sims cry with sadness. Noticing Takuya's sad face, Kotoko whispers in Amane's ear that Takuya is dying to see her in a maid outfit. In the end, Amane agrees, but tells everyone that they are also dressing up just because she wants to see Takuya in a cosplay. The next day, everyone is busy designing their costumes, and Amane considers wearing a Glittermon-themed maid outfit. However, she quickly realizes that everyone will treat her like a disgusting otaku if she does that and cancels her plan. In the meantime, Kotoko finds herself in the middle of a lover's drama because a girl's boyfriend smiled at her, which made his girlfriend super jealous. Kotoko quickly excuses herself, and when she loudly says that she doesn't get why anyone would be jealous over something so stupid, her friends tell her that she'll understand once she has a crush. Karma strikes right then, as Kotoko sees Takuya interacting with another baddie. Seeing him blush and smile so much, Kotoko gets upset and showers him with light punches. Later on, Amane and Takuya enjoy pretty privilege, as their teacher announces that he will be charging outsiders 1,000,000 yen to see them in cosplays. Hearing this, the girls realize that Takuya got to enjoy their beauty for free, so they ask him to pay them 2,000,000 yen, which nearly gives the broke loser a heart attack. After school, Kotoko asks Takuya if he wants to work on their costumes together, and he immediately says yes. So she takes him to Genichiro's apartment, since her place is constantly crowded with her brothers. However, Takuya starts freaking out after realizing that he will be all alone with a hot babe who is totally into him. As Kotoko tells Takuya that it's time to go down, he looks at her level 5 Gyat and thinks about taking her to Pound Town. Kotoko then notices him freaking out and asks Takuya if he is nervous to be alone with her. Takuya assures her that he is perfectly fine, so she shares with him how they don't get enough chances to talk in class anymore, since he is always surrounded by others now. At this, Takuya tells Kotoko that he feels happy when people talk to him, because most of the time, everyone treats him like he is Capster the ugly ghost. Just then, the doorbell rings, and Kotoko opens the door, revealing Amane. Upon seeing her, Takuya becomes happy because everyone knows two baddies are better than one baddie. A few hours later, Takuya finishes his Lord Earth costume, and Amane eagerly asks him to cosplay for her. As Takuya puts on a show for Amane, she gets excited and tells Takuya that she wants to try the costume as well. Takuya agrees and hands Amane his clothes, who immediately runs to the bathroom and gets excited at the thought of wearing Takuya's clothes. Several minutes later, Amane comes out and tells Takuya that she no longer wants to try on the costume, and he thinks it's because of his otaku stench. Even though Amane assures him that he smells like Dior Sauvage, Takuya falls into deep depression. A few hours later, Kotoko realizes that it's already too late and they still have a lot of work pending, so she suddenly tells her friends they should have a slumber party. Right away, Takuya is against the idea and looks to Amane for help, but she happily tells Kotoko that she is totally in. Hearing this, Kotoko tells Takuya that he can sleep with Genichiro and she'll sleep with Amane. However, Takuya loses his will to live after imagining himself sleeping next to Genichiro. Shortly after, Genichiro arrives and tells the Takuya cuddle crew to go to their homes, but then he sees their sad faces and takes pity, so he tells them they can have a sleepover if they inform their parents. Once that's out of the way, Takuya thanks Genichiro for letting him stay over, so he casually shares with him that he used to have sleepovers with baddies when his sausage was still working. However, he quickly tells Takuya that he shouldn't even think about doing anything naughty to Amane and Kotoko, which makes Takuya sweat. Later on, they order food and have a pizza party, after which they get too lazy to work on the school event. So Kotoko suggests they all freshen up in the shower before diving back to work. Moments later, Takuya returns from the bathroom, and Kotoko tells Amane they should shower together, but before leaving, she tells Takuya that he is allowed to be their peeping Tom. Even though Takuya tells Kotoko that he isn't a cultured freak, he can't help but imagine what it's like for two hot babes to bathe together. Seconds later, his junior stands up to say hello, and Takuya starts freaking out since he promised loyalty to his 902D waifus. So, to destroy his naughty thoughts, Takuya dives into his work, and seconds later, the girls come out of the shower. Takuya's cultured thoughts are immediately flushed down the toilet, the moment he sees Amane and Kotoko without their baddie face paint. Later on, it's time to hit the hay, and while Takuya leaves to sleep with Genichiro, the girls lie awake in their futons. After being restless for a while, they decide to wake Takuya up to talk about love and romance. Unfortunately, they end up waking Genichiro along with Takuya, who scolds at first and then tells them to stay up and have fun all night. Finding the idea solid, the girls decide to watch a scary movie. While the movie rolls in the background, the girls eagerly ask Takuya if he has a crush on someone from their class. When he tells them that his heart belongs to Doraemon's sister Doremi, the girls get frustrated and ask him who he'd go on a date with. After thinking for a moment, Takuya tells them that since they are the only girls he talks to, he would date them both. Feeling happy, Amane and Kotoko first bump each other before telling Takuya that they would also like to go on a date with him. After realizing what just happened, they all get awkward, so Amane tries to lighten the situation by clowning Kotoko for looking sleepy. Frustrated by this, Kotoko tells Amane that she won't sleep so easily and does her best to stay up until the clock strikes 4. When the otakus find Kotoko fast asleep, Takuya tells Amane that he will be the last one to fall asleep. Scoffing at Takuya's confidence, Amane states that a vanilla otaku like him has no chance of winning against the Iron Mask, who used to stay up till 10 a.m. for the new Glittermon episodes. As the night progresses on, Takuya suddenly asks Amane why she hides the fact that she is an otaku. At first, Amane tries to tell Takuya that she is not an otaku, but in the end, she comes clean and reveals that when she got into anime, girls around her age were talking about celebrities, so she felt left out and decided to keep quiet about reading Naruto x Sasuke fanfics. However, hiding about her otaku identity was extremely bad for Amane, as she eventually started having trouble expressing herself because she only did what others expected of her. Takuya is taken aback by this, since he never expected a popular girl like Amane to have such deep feelings. Just then, Amane tells Takuya that she has a lot of fun with him, because she gets to be her real self around him. Takuya smiles and tells Amane that he feels the same way, because for the most part of his life, he was a loner until he met her and Kotoko. When he expresses his wish for the time to stop moving, Amane decides to take a picture of them, so they can always remember this moment. The next morning, Kotoko teases Takuya by saying that he's one lucky stud who got to sleep with 2 baddies. Just then, Amana realizes that she forgot her costume, so she and Kotoko decide to go back to the apartment while Takuya heads to school. However, upon arrival they find the apartment locked since Genichiro is taking a bath. So to pass the time, they head to a nearby park where Kotoko asks Amane if something happened between her and Takuya while she was out cold. Amane tells her that they just watched another movie and then clowns her for falling asleep so soon. Noticing Amane's carefree attitude, Kotoko tells her that she has changed a lot, as she used to be super uptight. This makes the girls recall their very first interaction, which occurred last year during the enrollment ceremony, when their eyes locked in on each other. Kotoko was immediately captivated by Amane's cold beauty, while she casually walked away, which further made Kotoko want to be in the same class as hers. Fortunately, they ended up in the same section and immediately gained popularity. After the introduction, Amane stared at Kotoko, realizing that she would be the perfect fit for a Gliderman character. However, when Kotoko saw her looking, she thought Amane would slime her in her sleep for being a cutie. Later on, a few simps made a desperate attempt to say hello to Amane, but she instantly scared them away with her cold attitude. Seeing this, Kotoko's friend, Mayu, gathered her courage and tried to introduce herself, but like before, Amane made her pee with her sharp response. Despite this, Kotoko enthusiastically introduced herself next, and when Amane gave her a broken smile, Kotoko became sure that she hated her guts. However, in reality, Amane was just impressed by how much Kotoko resembled her favorite character. The next day, Kotoko invited Amane to go karaoke with her and her friends, but Amane bluntly declined because she didn't want to sing Unravel in front of the boys. Upon being rejected again, Kotoko felt like hugging Trucken until she saw Amane easing up around other classmates. Later that day, Kotoko expressed to her friends that she wants to become friends with Amane, but she gets the feeling that Amane wants to do a Russian sleep experiment on her. However, a girl named Shion assured Kotoko that Amane is just really shy, and she got to know this after talking to her. Meanwhile, Amane was telling Sayu how she has a large group of friends, but Sayu immediately called bull on that, so Amane told her about Kotoko and how nice she had been to her. Hearing that, Sayu bluntly told Amane that Kotoko would never be nice to her if she knew she was an otaku. The next day, Kotoko invited Amane to go to the arcade with them, and when Amane saw that it was going to be just girls, she agreed, which made Kotoko very happy. Later that day, a few boys approached Kotoko and asked if they could join her at the arcade. She agreed, as she believed this would help Amane make more friends. So after calling everyone at the arcade, Kotoko thought she did a good thing inviting everyone after seeing everyone having fun. However, when it was time to go home, Kotoko thanked Amane for coming, but in response, Amane told Kotoko that she was disappointed in her for inviting the boys without asking her first. After telling Kotoko that she is never hanging out with her again, Amane walked away, leaving Kotoko all sad. That evening, Amane cursed herself for sounding so mean and wondered if the other girls were making memes about her in their little group chats. The next day, Amane learned that Kotoko was absent and wondered if it was because of her behavior. Just then, Mayu and Shion came up to her and revealed how Kotoko was psyched to have her at the arcade, that she prepared a whole list of things that she wanted to talk to her about. The final straw that broke Amane was learning that Kotoko specially asked Shion to keep her company. After that, Amane was riddled with so much guilt that she came to Kotoko's place to apologize for her behavior. However, Kotoko assured her that it was her fault for not checking in with her. As Amane felt much better, she thanked Kotoko for being considerate towards her, which made Blondie tear up. When she told Amane that she was scared of being hated by her, Amane assured her that she could never hate her and asked Kotoko if they could hang out again. From that day, Amane and Kotoko became close friends, but then their teacher changed their seats, and Kotoko was moved away from Amane. However, despite the distance, Amane visited Kotoko's seat regularly. Then one day, Kotoko was borrowing an eraser from the ugly guy behind her, and when Amane noticed that it had Glitter Mom characters on it, she started freaking out as she wished to talk to him. Just then, Takuya started rambling about the lore, which made Amane so excited that she also started talking about the anime and realized that she messed up. In the present, Amane thanks Kotoko for inviting her to the arcade that day and tells her that she is very awesome for always looking out for others. However, instead of being happy, Kotoko becomes sad and tells Amane that she has always thought about herself. She also confesses that back then, she couldn't say no to the boys because she wanted them to like her. Since it's confession day, Amane tells Kotoko that she is an otaku, and to her shock, Kotoko reveals that she knew it from the start. Amane is shocked, but then tells Kotoko that in her old school, she never got along with people because she had different tastes than them. That's why she is grateful to her for not giving up on her even when she was super cold to her. After that conversation, Amane and Kotoko become best friends as they rush back to the apartment to collect the costume. A few hours later, Takuya shows up to school in his Lord Earth costume and wonders if he is overdressed for the event. As he nervously steps inside his class, he finds everyone dressed in costumes and breathes a sigh of relief. Just then, Kotoko greets Takuya by praising his costume before asking him if he likes her maid outfit. Takuya casually tells Kotoko she looks great, but internally he's thanking Kotoko's mother for not getting her fetus and giving the world a beauty like Kotoko. Later that day, Takuya notices that the maid cafe is a hit as a lot of students have shown up to see Kotoko. Just then, Amani's simps show up and are disappointed when they are unable to spot her. Seeing this, their greedy teacher jumps up and reveals that Amani will be working the second shift, so they'll have to come back with more money if they wish to see her. While the students are shocked at the teacher's greedy schemes, he further adds that both Kotoko and Amani will have a costume change, so they should stop by again if they wish to see them. As Takuya watches the scene unfold, he is impressed by his teacher's schemes, while a class fellow named Kobayashi tells Takuya that they might just win the best class award because of the maid cafe. While they are talking, Kobayashi tells Takuya how everyone is excited for the Mr. and Miss pageant, where students will vote on the most attractive boy and girl of this year. Kobayashi then hands Takuya a ballot paper before asking him if he will vote for Amane or Kotoko. This leaves Takuya deeply worried, as he doesn't want to choose between his friends. He then finds Kotoko surrounded by simps, asking her to join them at the closing ceremony. Kotoko then remembers the girls talking about a popular myth that if a boy and a girl watch fireworks together, they will turn into lifelong lovers. Just then, another clavicular fan arrives and asks Kotoko to watch the fireworks with him, but she politely turns him down, stating that she doesn't believe in love. However, when the moment is right, she walks up to Takuya and asks him if he's watching the fireworks with anyone. Takuya, being a stupid otaku, tells Kotoko that he was actually planning on going home early so he could watch top 10 Naruto fights. Kotoko then recalls that he was looking at her weirdly, so she asks him what was bothering him earlier. Takuya then tells Kotoko about the whole ordeal with the beauty pageant, before revealing that he has decided to vote for her. This leaves Kotoko happy and confused, since she doesn't know if she should be happy that Takuya picked her over Amani. Just then, Takuya reveals that he actually wrote both of their names, which makes Kotoko laugh. A few hours later, Takuya realizes that it's time for shift change and eagerly waits for Amani to show up. Just then, Amani appears in a vampire cosplay which gets all the girls wetter than Niagara Falls. Seeing her costume, Takuya realizes that Amani is doing a Glittermon cosplay of Vamp the Great. However, on closer look, Takuya notices that Amani's cosplay is missing a lot of details, so he reaches the conclusion that it must be a last-minute decision. Just then, a Happy Meal's lover shows up and tells Takuya that he loves his Lord Earth cosplay. Takuya immediately reaches Cloud 9 when he realizes that he's talking to a fellow Glittermon fan. Knowing that Amane would also want to talk to him, Takuya tells the brat that there's another Glittermon character here. However, after scanning the room, he calls Takuya a liar, which upsets Amane. Takuya then consoles Amane by saying that Vamp the Great isn't popular with undercooked adults, so she shouldn't be disappointed. While Amani is crashing out, a girl asks her for a photograph, and soon Amani finds herself busy as a lot of people line up to take pictures with her. Watching this, Takuya also wishes to take a photo with Amani, however he quickly dismisses the idea, thinking that he doesn't deserve to take a picture with Amani or Kotoko. Right then, Amani shows up and asks Takuya to take a picture with her so they can both remember this moment. After having their picture taken, Takuya leaves to take an order, while a class fellow tells Amani that this is the first time she has seen her getting close to a boy. Amani blushes at this, and tries to convince herself and her friend that it was just an ordinary picture. Later during lunch break, Takuya finds himself completely alone when he receives a text from the girls telling him to hang out with them. The moment he meets them, the girls force him to try on a new costume, so after a lot of struggle, Takuya gives up and changes into the maid costume. After getting his manhood ripped to shreds, Takuya hurries to the class for the second shift. This time, Amani is dressed up as a hot gal from the 2003s. Just then, Sayu arrives to tease Amani, but ends up getting surrounded by her fans. That's when the brat finds out just how popular Amani really is, which makes her smirk internally, because only she knows how uncool Amani really is. When the simps ask Sayu what Amani is like at home, Takuya starts shivering in fear, as he hopes Sayu wouldn't say something that will destroy Amani's popularity. To his and Amani's shock, Sayu tells everyone that Amani is super cool at home, and she wants to become just like her when she grows up. After the interrogation, Amani thanks Sayu for saving her social life and asks Takuya to look after her while she is on duty. An hour later, Amani finds Sayu and Takuya bonding over something stupid until Sayu tells Takuya to take Amani to the fireworks event. Embarrassed by this, Amani quickly grabs Sayu and runs away, leaving Takuya all confused. Meanwhile, Sayu tells Amani that if she doesn't make the first move, Kotoko will, and then she will become Hannah Baker of this anime. After sending Sayu home, Amani finds herself thinking about what Sayu said and wonders if she should invite Takuya. At the same time, Kotoko prepares to ask Takuya out. Who do you think Takuya will choose? Comment Fairy if you want to see what happens, and as always, like and subscribe for more anime content.